This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, hi everyone. Good morning. I'm audible. Okay, let us start. Yeah, in the last class, we discussed about the mapping level of data insert. Okay, so mapping level of data insert, or this is SCD type 1. So SCD type 1, what it will do, if the source record does not exist, it will insert. If the source record already present in the target table, it will do the update. And before going to the update, so here it will check is there any change between source and target record. That comparison we are doing in router transformation. So here we are checking the source address and the target address, whether there is a change or not. So if there is a change between source address and the target address, then only we are going for update. Okay, so this is what mapping level update else insert what we discussed in the last class. Here, to know whether the source record exists or not, inside the source qualifier transformation, we have written a join query. So left outer join query we have written. So what is the purpose of writing the left outer join query inside the source qualifier transformation? Means after joining two tables by using the left outer join, whatever the result we get, from that result we will decide which source record needs to insert and which source record needs to update. Okay, so after joining these two tables, if the target employee number is null, that means the source record does not exist, then we will go for insert. If the target employee number is not null, okay, then we will go for update. Okay, so like that, that is the reason to decide which source record exists inside the target and which source record does not exist. So we join source with the target table by writing the query, left outer join query. Okay, fine. Now, as we discussed in the last class, okay, so when it will allow us to write a query inside the source qualifier transformation, means if the joining tables are from same schema or same user, then only we can be able to write a join query like this and we can join two tables. Suppose if the joining tables are from different schemas or from different databases, then can we join two tables like source and target table like this by writing the query? Means no. Okay, because as I told you, if the tables are from different as users or different databases, definitely we have to use joiner transformation. So joiner transformation we use to join the tables if they are from different schemas or from different databases, then we use this joiner transformation. Okay, so here in this scenario, since the source and target table they are from same system user, that is the reason here we have written a join query inside the source qualifier. Okay, fine. Now let's say if the tables are from different users, then definitely to join those two tables we have to use joiner transformation. Okay, so but joiner transformation, we have some limited options in joiner transformation. What are the limited options we have in joiner transformation? Okay, so inside the joiner transformation, if you go to the condition tab, here which operator is used in the join condition? Equal to operator. But sometimes it is also necessary to use in place of equal to operator in join condition. We also use less than operator, greater than operator, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to. All these operators we have to use in join condition. But here joiner supports only equal to operator. We cannot change this equal to operator, right? This is fixed. So we cannot change this operator. So if you want to join two tables in the join condition, if you want to use not equal to operator or if you want to use less than operator, then we cannot use joiner transformation. This is one limited option which we have in joiner transformation. Okay, the second limited option. So after joining two tables, let's say now I have joined employee and department table. After joining two tables, I want to select the specific rows and the specific columns. Let's say after joining two tables, we have active and inactive records. Okay, I want to select only active records. Okay, so for that in the query, I have to write a where clause where status is equal to active. So like that, if I write a query, if there are active and inactive records, since in our query we have the where status equal to active, then it will select only active records. Okay, but here, so to write a query, we do not have such property inside the joiner transformation. Joiner transformation, we do not have any property here to write the SQL query to select the specific rows and columns after joining two tables. Okay, that is another limited option we have. This joiner transformation after joining two tables, whatever the result we get, so it will select all the records from the join result. So after joining two tables, if you are getting 100 records, it will send all the 100 records from joiner transformation to the next transformation. Out of 100, as I told you, if there are inactive and active records, if I want to if I want joiner to send only active records to the next transformation, we do not have such property here to select only active records or to select only inactive records or to select only the specific columns. Such type of options we do not have in joiner transformation. So like that, in joiner, to join the tables, even though they are from different schemas or from different databases, inside the joiner transformation, we have limited options. We have limited options. So what limited options we have? Just now we discussed. Like it supports only equal to operator. We cannot use less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to operators. We cannot use. Okay, at the same time, we do not have any property to write the SQL query to select the specific rows and the columns after joining two tables, right? So like that, we have limited options in joiner transformation. To overcome this joiner transformation, to join two tables, okay, so we have a transformation called lookup transformation. So we we have a transformation called lookup transformation. So lookup transformation we can use to join the tables. Okay, so to join the tables we have joiner transformation also, but there are some limited options we have. So that is the reason we can use lookup transformation instead of using the joiner transformation. So lookup transformation we can use to join the tables if they are from same databases or from different databases also. We can use lookup transformation. So lookup transformation we can use to join the tables if they are from same schema or from different schemas or from different databases. For whatever it may be, to join the tables we can use lookup transformation. Lookup transformation has more advanced features to join the tables. As I told you, in joiner it supports only equal to operator in join condition, whereas here in lookup transformation we have all the operators. You can use equal to operator, less than operator, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to, all these operators we can use in lookup transformation to join the tables. And also we have a property inside the lookup transformation to join to write a query and then to select the specific records from the lookup table, or we can select the specific columns. Like that, we do have property inside the lookup transformation to join the tables. Not only this one, compare with joiner, we have many other advanced features in lookup transformation while joining the tables to improve the mapping performance. We have so many options in lookup transformation. Okay, there are many things to discuss in the lookup transformation. Compare with other transformations, whatever we have discussed till now, like expression, filter, router, sequence inverter, normalizer, joiner. Compare with all these transformations. Lookup transformation is very, very, very important transformation. In real time, many of our scenarios, real time scenarios, wherever in between the transformations, or if you want to join source with the target table, then we can use lookup transformation instead of joiner. many of the times we use lookup transformation to join the tables. Okay, so there are many things to discuss in lookup, and also lookup transformation 100% interview question. In every interview they will ask about the lookup transformation. Without asking the lookup transformation there will not be any interview. Okay, so 100% every interview they'll ask about lookup, what is lookup, and we have different properties inside the lookup transformation. We'll discuss those properties. So those properties also 100% in every interview they'll ask about lookup transformation. Right. Okay. So and also this one this is also another 100% interview question. They will ask, tell me what is the difference between joiner and the lookup transformation. Okay. So you note down this question. This is 100% interview question. What is the difference between joiner and lookup transformation? The first difference is joiner transformation supports equal to operator in join condition, whereas lookup transformation supports all the operators like equal to, less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to operators it supports. This is the first difference. Second difference is we do not have any property inside the joiner transformation to write the SQL query after joining the tables. If you want to select the specific rows in the columns, we cannot select in joiner transformation. Whereas in the lookup transformation, we do have property to write the SQL override. We call that as a SQL override. So there we can write a query to select the specific rows in the columns. This is the second difference. Next, the third difference. By default, joiner transformation will do the normal join. If you do the joiner transformation properties, there you can see the by default normal join. Whereas this lookup transformation, by default it will do the left outer join. What type of join lookup transformation will do by default? Left outer join. This is also important point. So by default lookup transformation will do the left outer join. So like that, these three are the major difference between joiner and lookup transformation. Okay, so lookup transformation, this is mainly to use join the tables. Right, now here we are going to the same mapping in the last class, whatever we have discussed, mapping level update else insert, the same mapping again we are going to create, but here in instead of writing the join query inside the source qualified transformation to join the tables, now the scenario which we are going to discuss here, we are going to use the lookup transformation to join source with the target table. So here we are going to use the lookup transformation to join source with the target table. Rest everything will be the same. Okay, so only the difference is, so will be using the lookup transformation. Got it? Okay, the same transformation every type one, but instead of writing the query, we will be using the lookup transformation, right? So now here we will perform SCD type 1, okay, by using lookup transformation. SCD type 1 by using the lookup transformation. Now we are going to perform the SCD type 1. Okay, so you know what is meant by SCD type 1. In the last class we discussed on practically also we have seen what is SCD type 1. Okay, so now we are going to perform the SCD type 1 by using the lookup transformation. Okay, so source table emp lkp underscore yes. So we can create a source table like this: employee number, employee name, address. So 10A HYD, 20 BBLR, okay, 30 CCNI. So like that you have source table and target table. So we'll have the target table like this. This is target table. And as I told you, whenever we perform SCD type 1 or SCD type 2 or SCD type 3 or insert else update or update else insert, it is mandatory to have the primary key constraint on a target employee number column. So without having the primary key, we cannot perform the SCD type 1. Okay, so you know how to create a primary key and next create date, update date columns. So these are the columns which we have in the target table. Okay, so once the source and target tables are created, next you have to start creating the mapping. So let me show the same thing here. Okay, not S1, EMPL, KBS. I can only yes. Okay, so here we have like this. Now you can see while practicing, I do not have any screenshots for the tables. Okay, so here in the recording, you will have what is the table name, right? And how many columns are there in the table, right? How many rows are there in this table? You can see this one in the recording, right? So by seeing this recording, you will come to know the table name. Okay, so you have the query to create a table, right? So you can save the query in the notepad. So from next time onwards, you can copy paste that same query. Okay, so whatever the queries you are writing here, so if you want to save those queries, you open the notepad in your system. So like this, you can open the notepad, right? So in the notepad, you can and you can here, right? And save all your queries. You can save here on your desktop. You can save. So you can give the name like queries. SQL query, something like this. We can write like this. So save. Okay. Now this you are creating for the lookup transformation, right? So whatever the queries you have created, just put the star here like this, and this is LKB. Okay, and then all the lookup transformation queries you can keep in between this part. And then suppose let's say if you are practicing expression, whatever the queries you have used for expression, you can keep here, and whatever the queries you have used for filter to create a table, you can keep in between like that. You can copy paste the queries whatever you have used before closing this SQL developer, and then save this one, so that you will have that SQL queries on your desktop. See, so whenever you want, you can open the SQL queries file. So there you will get, if you have saved there, you can see these SQL queries. So from here you can copy paste the create table query, insert queries, just change the values. Got it? So like that you can practice the SQL queries. Okay. So this is our source table and target table. There should be primary key constraint on the target. So we have a primary key on the employee number, employee name, employee name, address, create date, update date. So once the source and target tables are created, so we'll start creating the mapping. So to start creating the mapping, first we have to import the source definition. Go to the menu sources, import from database, enter the source table name, connect. Okay, so this is our source table. Select and OK. And then we have to import the target definition. Targets import from database. So username system, password, and the target table name here we have to give. This is our target table name. Connect. Okay, so you can see here we have a primary key or employee number. Then mappings create m underscore emp underscore lkp. Okay, SED type 1. So to target code. Okay, so by using lookup, we are going to perform the SED type 1 here, and then click on OK. So we have given the name to the mapping. So after that, we know we have to same 6 steps we are doing for every mapping. So after importing the source and target definition, next is we have to drag and drop the source definition into the mapping. Then we have to drag and drop the target definition, right? So this is our target definition. So till here, you know, so importing the source definition, importing the target definition, right? So after that, what we have to do now, here we have decided to use the lookup transformation to join the source with the target table. Here we have decided to join source with the target table by using the lookup transformation. Okay, so instead of writing the query inside the source qualifier to join the tables, we have decided to use lookup transformation. So if we have decided to use the lookup transformation to join the tables, then we have to follow some steps. Whenever we have a requirement to use the lookup transformation, we have to follow some steps. The first step is, before creating the lookup transformation, okay, so before creating the lookup transformation, we have to decide the lookup table from joining tables. So this is our first step. Okay, so before creating the lookup transformation in our mapping, we have to decide the lookup table. What is meant by lookup table? Lookup table is nothing but a joining table. So how do we decide which is the lookup table? So lookup table will decide, okay, parent table or less number of rows table. So how do we decide which is the lookup table from the joining tables? Now, what are the joining tables here? Our source and target. These two are the joining tables. We are joining these two tables. Source and target tables. These two are our joining tables. We have to join these two tables. Why we are joining these two tables? Any idea? We have to join these two tables by using the lookup transformation. Why do we have to join these two tables? In the last class, in mapping level of data insert also, we have joined source with the target table by writing the query inside the source qualifier transformation, right? In the last class, we have written a left outer join query inside the source qualifier transformation. Can you tell me why we have written the left outer join query inside the source qualifier? What is the purpose of writing the query inside the source qualifier to join source and target table? Any idea?
To know whether any records present in target table or not.
Exactly, right? So to know whether the source record present or not inside the target table, that is the reason we have written the query inside the source qualifier transformation. Now here also we are joining source with the target table by using the lookup transformation to know whether the source record exists or not inside the target table. Okay, so whatever the values lookup is going to return, based on that we are going to decide which source record exists inside the target table and which source record does not exist inside the target table. Got it? Now here we are going to create a lookup transformation on the target to join these two tables, because uh, to know whether the source record exists or not. So we'll see how we will come to know whether the source record exists or not if we join source with the target table by using the lookup transformation. Okay, so first we have to decide the lookup table. Parent table. What is meant by parent table? So if there is a primary key and foreign key relationship between two tables, whichever the table is having the primary key, then that table we called it as a parent table. I repeat, if there is a primary key or for primary key and foreign key relationship is there between two tables, whichever the table is having the primary key constraint, then that table we call it as a parent table, and whichever the table is having the foreign key constraint, then that is called child table. Okay, so here we do not have primary key or foreign key relationship, then we will go this option, less number of rows table. Now tell me, in these two tables, which table contains the less number of rows? In these two tables, which table contains the less number of rows?
Target table.
Target table, right? So target table contains the less number of rows. Source contains 3 rows, whereas target table contains 0 rows, right? So since the target table contains 0 rows, now this table will consider as our lookup table, right? So why we have to consider less number of rows table as a lookup table? What is the reason? So we have to consider the less number of rows table as a lookup table to improve the performance of the lookup transformation. Okay, so why and how it will improve the performance of the lookup transformation, that we will discuss at the end of this scenario. So at the end, again I will come back to this first point, and again that time I will show you this is the reason why we have selected the lookup less number of rows table as a lookup table. That time I'll explain once again. Okay, so why we have selected the less number of rows table as a lookup table. For now, since the target table contains a less number of rows, we will consider target table as a lookup table. Okay, fine. Next, after deciding the lookup table, now we know which is the lookup table. Second point, after deciding the lookup table, then we have to create lookup transformation on lookup table. So what do we have to do? We have to create a lookup transformation on the lookup table. That is our second step. So after knowing which is a lookup table, now we have to create a lookup transformation on lookup table. Okay, so how to create a lookup transformation on lookup table, we will see here. Go to the menu transformation, create, and then from this transformation list, we have to select the lookup transformation, and then the lookup transformation name starts with LKP, create. As soon as I click on create button, generally the other transformations like expression, filter, router and all, as soon as we click on create, a transformation will be created. But here, as soon as I click on create button for the lookup, you can read here, select lookup table for lookup transformation, right? So it is asking to select the lookup table from this list to create a lookup transformation. That's the reason we have decided the lookup table first before we create a lookup transformation. Now we know which is our lookup table. So our lookup table is emp lkp underscore t. Now from this list, we have to select emp lkp underscore t. We have to select the lookup table. This is our lookup table in this scenario. That's the reason. So we are selecting the lookup table as emp lkp t for lookup transformation. So you have to select and click on OK. So as soon as you click on OK, done, the lookup transformation will be created like this. So this is lookup transformation. This is lookup transformation. So, and one thing you can observe here, generally whatever the transformations earlier we have created like expression, filter, router and all, after creating the transformation, in those transformations, we have got 0 ports. We didn't get any ports in that, in those transformations. But here, so do we have any ports here inside the lookup transformation? Yes, there are 5 ports. What are those 5 ports we have here? Employee number, employee name, address, create date, update date. So we have not added these 5 ports inside the lookup transformation. Then if you have not added these 5 ports inside the lookup transformation, from where we have got these ports? So these ports inside the lookup transformation we have got from the lookup table. So in the lookup table, we have employee number, employee name, address, create date, update date. So while creating the lookup transformation, we have selected the lookup table. In that lookup table, whatever the columns are there, all the columns will get here inside the lookup transformation. If the lookup table contains 100 columns, the same 100 columns you can see inside the lookup transformation after creating the lookup transformation. Like that, we will get the lookup table ports inside the lookup transformation. Next step. Now we have created the lookup transformation. Third step. What is the third step is? So we have to copy only joining port from source qualifier to lookup transformation. This is our third step. We have to copy only joining port from source qualifier to the lookup transformation. Okay, what it means? So we have to join source with the target table, right? So here we have created the lookup on the target table, and the joining column is employee number. Based on the employee number, we have to join these two. In the last class also, we have written a query inside the source qualifier transformation. There, in the join condition, we have used which column? Employee number column. Okay, so in the join condition, we have used a employee number column. Okay, in the same way, here also, we have to select the employee number column in the source qualifier only joining column, and we have to drag and drop the joining column. So like that, so we have to copy only joining column from source qualifier to the lookup transformation. Other columns are not required. Only joining column we have to drag and drop from source qualifier to the lookup transformation. Okay, so that is our third step. Next, fourth step. After copying the joining port from source qualifier to the lookup transformation, we have to add join condition. So we have to add join condition in lookup transformation under condition tab. Okay, this is our fourth step. So we have to add the join condition in the lookup transformation. So for that, open the lookup transformation, right click edit, go to the condition tab, and here we have a button. We no need to write any query to add a condition. We just have to click on that button so that you can see ENO is equal to ENO1. Based on the employee number, it is joining source and target table. Okay, target means we have created the lookup transformation on the target table, which we have considered as a lookup table. Terminology is very important. Okay, you have to use the same terminology. So here we have join condition on employee number column, and also as I told you, joiner transformation supports only equal to operator in the join condition, right? So here if you see, if I click on equal to operator, you can see other operators also in the lookup transformation: less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, not equal to operators. So like that depends on our requirement. We can also use the other operators in the join condition. In the same way, if you go to the properties, the first property we have here, lookup SQL override. Okay, so we do not have any property inside the joiner transformation to write the SQL query, whereas here lookup SQL override we have here. By click on the down arrow, you will get the SQL editor. Here we can write a SQL query to select the specific rows and the specific columns. Okay, so like that we have many other advanced options in the lookup transformation. For now, we just have to add the join condition like this, then click on apply. Okay. Got it? Any questions till now? So wherever you have requirement to use lookup transformation, you have to follow the same 4 steps. First, you have to decide the lookup table, create a lookup transformation on the lookup table. Then from the source, you have to drag and drop to the joining port to the lookup transformation, and then you have to add the join condition. Got it? Let me draw the same thing here. Whatever we have created and implemented here, the same thing let me draw here so that it would be easy to understand. Let's say this is our source definition. In the source definition, we have a employee number, employee name, address. So after source definition, we have the source qualifier transformation. So this is our source qualifier transformation, right? And then we have a target definition. Okay, so this is our target definition. Target definition contains employee number, employee name, address, created, updated. Right? So definition, this is source qualifier, this is target definition. After importing, we have created the lookup transformation on the target table, and this is our lookup transformation. Okay, so this is our lookup transformation. As soon as we create a lookup transformation, inside the lookup transformation, we have got the lookup table ports: employee number, employee name, address, created, updated. So these are the lookup table ports which we have got inside the lookup transformation. After that, we have drag and drop to the joining port. So from the source, we have copied the employee number. As soon as we copy the employee number, we will get ENO1 because already we have the ENO. Same column again, if you drag and drop here, it will give the column name as ENO1. Okay, so this is our joining column from the source. After drag and dropping the joining column, next what we did, we have added a join condition. So ENO is ENO1. So like that, inside the transformation, we have added the join condition. This is what we have implemented till now here. Clear? Okay, next step. Assume with this, we have done with the mapping session, workflow, everything we have created. Okay, assume we have done with everything. We have created mapping session, workflow, everything, and we have started execution. Okay, so as soon as we start execution of this mapping, assume we have created the mapping and we have started execution. As soon as we start execution of the mapping, at the beginning of the execution, if there is a lookup transformation in any mapping, not only in this mapping, in any mapping, inside the mapping, if there is a lookup transformation, at the beginning of the execution, lookup transformation will create a static cache. First step, lookup transformation will create static cache. Okay, so what is static cache? I repeat, so if there is a lookup transformation in a mapping, at the beginning of the execution, first step, as soon as we start execution of any mapping, it will, at the beginning of the execution, it will create a static cache. What is static cache? Static cache is a copy of a lookup table. This definition very important. You have to remember the definition. What is static cache? Static cache is a copy of a lookup table. Okay, so generally static cache is nothing but a file. Okay, it will be created inside the Informatica server. I will show you where the static cache file will be created. So wherever your Informatica server software is installed. Okay, so C drive and then Informatica and then 10.2. So in our local machine we have installed Informatica server and client softwares, but in real time server will be installed in some other machine. So we have to go to the server, and inside the info share we'll have the, you can see inside the info share we have the cache directory or a cache folder. Inside this cache folder, lookup transformation, a static cache file will be created. I repeat, as soon as we start execution of any mapping which is having the lookup transformation at the beginning of the execution, inside the Informatica server, a static cache file will be created. That file will have copy of the lookup table data. Now, how many rows are there in the lookup table? We have 0 records, right? So with these 0 records, the static cache file will be created. Okay, so a static cache file will be created inside the Informatica server under cache directory. While creating the static cache file, whatever the number of rows are there inside the lookup table, with those rows the static cache file will be created. Currently, in our scenario, we have 0 records in our lookup table. That's the reason static cache also created with 0 records. While creating the static cache, if there are 1 million records in the lookup table, static cache also will be created with 1 million records. Okay, because static cache is a copy of a lookup table, copy, same as it is. Whatever the data present in the lookup table, with that data, the cache will be created. Currently, we have 0 records in the lookup table. That is the reason static cache also will be created with 0 record. Remember, static cache is a copy of a lookup table. Copy means whatever the number of rows are there in the lookup table, with those rows, the static cache will be created at the beginning of the execution. If there are 0 records in the lookup table, while creating the static cache, it will create with 0 records. If there are 10 millions in the lookup table, with the 10 million records, the static cache file will be created inside the Informatica server. Fine. Let's say now we know what is static cache, and the static cache got created with 0 records. There's a cache file created inside the cache directory with 0 records. After creating the static cache, then reader, it will go to the source table and it will read the first record 10AHYD. And after reading the first record from the source qualifier, currently we are passing only employee number to the lookup transformation. We are not passing employee name and address. Only employee number value we are passing here. So what is the employee number for the first record? We have got 10, right? So from the source qualifier, first it will 10 to the lookup transformation as a input value. So look at what is the lookup transformation input value it has received under joining column 10, right? So that is a joining column and it has received input value as 10. As soon as it receives the input value 10, what lookup transformation will do is, based on this join condition, it will start looking for the matching value inside the joining column under the static cache. What is the joining column here? Employee number. So whatever employee number it has received from the source, for that employee number, lookup transformation, always it will look for the matching value inside the joining column in static cache. Okay, so under the joining column in static cache, it will look for the matching value. Now tell me, do we have any matching value here inside the static cache for whatever the input value it has received? Do we have any matching value inside the static cache for 10?
No.
No, right?
Yes.
We do not have any 10 here inside the static cache, right? We do not have any matching value here. If
Yes.
there is no matching value inside the static cache, whatever the input value it has received, always lookup transformation will look for the matching value inside the static cache. So do we have any matching value inside the static cache for whatever input value it has received? 10? No, we do not have 10. If there is no matching record inside the static cache, lookup transformation, all the ports, employee number will be null, employee name null, address null, create date null, update date null. So if there is no matching value found inside the static cache for whatever input value it has received, lookup transformation will return the null values. All the lookup transformation ports will return null. Null means nothing, empty. Okay, now lookup employee number is null. Okay, so lookup table primary key column name is employee number, that is returning as null from the lookup. Okay, now when we have got the lookup employee number as null, is null of ENO, right? Now we have got the ENO value as null here in the lookup transformation. When we have got the lookup employee number as null, whether the source employee number 10 exists inside the target table or does not exist. In which scenario we will get employee number as null? By seeing, we can say that the source employee number 10 does not exist. In that scenario, here we have got the lookup employee number as null. Okay, so when we have got the lookup employee number as null, source record does not exist in target table. Okay, since the source record does not exist in the target table, after joining source with the target by using the lookup transformation, static cache created with 0 records, and from the source it has read the first record 10, it has passed to the lookup transformation. Lookup has looked for the matching value inside the static cache. There is no matching value inside the static cache. That's the reason all the lookup transformation ports we have got null, and from that we have to take the primary key column value, which is ENO, that's also null. And when we have got the lookup primary key column value as null, means the source record does not exist. So if the source record does not exist, what do we have to do for that source record? Do we have to insert the source record or update? So we have to insert. If lookup returns null, that means the source record does not exist. Whenever the lookup returns null, the source record does not exist, we have to insert the record inside the target table. Like that, we will decide if the lookup is returning null, then we will decide to insert that source record into the target table. Okay, fine. When lookup will return not null, assume we already have one record in the target table, one A USA, some created, some update. So before we start execute, assume we already have one record in the target table. Now we have started execution. As soon as we start execution of this mapping this time the static cache will be created with how many records? This time the cache will be created with how many records? One record, right? So we will have this one record inside the static cache. Just now I told, right, static cache is a copy of a lookup table. Now since we have one record, with this record the cache will be created. Okay, fine. Static cache got created. So after creating the static cache, now reader will start reading the data from the source. In source we have the first record 10A HYD. 10 it has passed to the lookup transformation. As soon as lookup receives 10, it will start looking for the matching value inside the static cache. Tell me, this time inside the static cache, do we have the matching value for whatever input value 10 it has received?
No.
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 We don't have the matching value inside the static cache.
Yes, we have the matching value 10.
Yes, we have the matching value, right? Okay,
Yes.
so based on the employee number only, you have to see. You should not look other columns, only employee number. Okay, so we have received employee number 10 and it will look only in the employee number column here. So in this employee number column, do we have 10 or not? Yes, right, there is a 10 here. Okay, so this is the first column value, right? So first row we have 10A HYD, first row employee number is 10, that it will pass to the lookup transformation. As soon as lookup receives 10, based on this join condition, it will look only in employee number column. It will not look employee name, address created, no, doesn't matter. If they are different also doesn't matter. Okay, only joining column, right? So it will match for source employee number with the static cache employee number. Now tell me, do we have the matching value inside the static cache or not under joining column? Do we have the matching value?
Yes, sir.
Yes, there is a matching value. As soon as the matching value found, so this time lookup transformation will not return the null values. This will return the matching value corresponding column values will get at lookup transformation. What is the matching value here for employee number 10? What is the matching value corresponding employee name inside the static cache? A. And then what is the matching value corresponding address inside the static cache? USA. So here we will get that USA. And what is the matching value corresponding create date in the cache? 1. That 1 it will return. And what is the matching value of the corresponding update date in the static cache? 2. Like that. So if there is no matching value found inside the static cache, lookup transformation will return all the null values. Whereas if there is a matching value inside the static cache, then the matching value corresponding column values will get at lookup transformation. Got it? So from where we have got these values at lookup transformation now? We have got the values to the lookup transformation from the static cache. From static cache, we have got the values at lookup transformation. Okay, now lookup key column value. This is the primary key column value. So lookup primary key column value, we have got null value or not null value. Not is null.
No.
So we have not null. So not is null of ENO. ENO means lookup employee number. Now this time we have lookup employee number as not null. Okay, so when we have got the lookup employee number as not null, whether the source employee number 10 exists inside the target table or not. Source record exists in target table. Okay, so when we will get the lookup employee number as not null means if the source record exists inside, by seeing we can easily say yes, here we have the 10. Since the source record already present in the target table, we have got lookup employee number as not null. So if the source record already present in the target table, we have to compare between source address and the lookup address. We have to compare between source address and the lookup address. If they are same, we should not update. If they are different, source address not equal to lookup address, which is address 1. Okay, so when this condition will satisfy means if the source record already, in the last class we discussed the same conditions. If the source record already present in the target table, and if there is a change between source and the address, and we have to say lookup address instead of target address, we have to say lookup address. In the last class we mentioned that as a target address, but since here in this mapping we have used the lookup transformation, we have to say lookup address. Okay, so they are not equal. So if the source code already exists in target table and there is a change between source and target, okay, so when this condition satisfies, we have to go for update. Got it? So if the lookup returns not null, then we have to send that record to insert. If the lookup, if the lookup returns a null, then we have to send that record to insert. If the lookup returns not null, and if there is a change between source address and the lookup address, then we have to go for update. So like that, we will decide based on the lookup values, whatever the lookup returns the values, from those values we will decide which source record needs to insert and which source record needs to update in the target table. Fine. Now after this we will create, so now we know what is lookup transformation and how it will work, right? Okay, fine. Next, after lookup we will create expression transformation here to populate target, create it, update it with the system date. This is expression, and after creating expression from the lookup I will copy only employee number and address. Okay, others are not required, and this employee number is source, this employee name and address one is from source, and then created row, updated row. These two new ports we have to create, created row, updated row. So from the lookup I have taken only employee number and address. Okay, employee name, created, update, all the column values are not required to the expression transformation because we are not going to use lookup employee name, created, updated anywhere in the mapping. But lookup employee number we will use here in the insert group condition, and the lookup address we will use in the update group condition. That is the reason we have to take only whatever we will be using inside the router, only those columns we have to take from the lookup transformation. Okay, and then this employee number, employee name, address, directly you can drag and drop from this one, directly you can drag and drop from source qualifier to the expression transformation. These three directly you can drag and drop. Okay, and then here you have tried this timestamp. In the created, updated, you have tried this timestamp functions. Okay, so after expression transformation, next we will be creating the router transformation here. So this is router transformation. Okay, and we have to drag and drop all the ports from expression to the router. In router, how many groups we have to create? Same as last class mapping. We have to create two groups, one for insert. Okay, the other one is for update. So like that, we have to create two groups inside the router transformation. This is insert group and this is update group, and we'll have the default group. So once we drag and drop from expression to the router, we'll have the link like this. Okay, inside the router transformation, in insert group you have tried is null of ENO, in update group you have tried a condition not is null of ENO and ADDR not equal to ADDR1. So the same we will be writing, and then from insert group. So we have two ENOs, ENO and ENO1. Okay, so which is the source employee number? We have to connect ENO1 to the ENO. Okay, so ENO, this is coming from the lookup. For the first time lookup will return the null value. Again, it will insert the null value. So always we have to take the source employee number, source employee name, source address, and then create it, update it. We have to connect it to the target definition. After that, we also have to create an update strategy transformation here. In the last class we have right. So for the first time itself, you have to create update strategy, and then you have to drag and drop employee number, ENO, and then source address. ADDR1 contains the source address, update date. Inside the update strategy, we have tried DDM for update tag, right? All these are same as last class mapping. Employee number, source address. This is a source address, and this is the update date. Okay, and many to one is not possible. That's the reason you have to copy paste the target definition. Right click copy, and then right click paste. Okay, so from update strategy transformation to the target definition, employee number, address, and then update date. So like this you have to connect. Got it? So with this we have done with the mapping. Okay, this is how you have to create a mapping by using the lookup transformation. This is same as last class mapping. In the last class here we have considered target also as a source, and we have two source definitions and two source qualifiers, and we have written the join query. From there we connected to the expression. But now we have not written the join query. Instead of join query, we have used the lookup transformation. That is only the difference. Rest everything same. Okay, now we will start execution of this mapping. So assume with this we have done with the mapping session workflow everything, and we have started execution of this mapping. So as soon as we start execution of this mapping, tell me first we have a lookup transformation here. This will create a static cache. So tell me with how many records the static cache will be created here? How many records the static cache will be created? The lookup transformation.
0 records.
0 records, right? Okay, so it will create with 0 records. Why with 0 records? What is the reason? Why static cache will create with 0 records?
No records in the lookup table.
Right, exactly. There are no records in the lookup table, right? Static cache is a copy of a lookup table. So lookup table contains 0 records. That's the reason static cache also will be created with 0 records. The static cache created with 0 records. After creating the static cache, from the source it will read the first record 10A HYD, and the first 10 it will pass to the lookup transformation. As soon as lookup receives 10, it will start looking for the matching value inside the static cache. So do we have the matching value inside the static cache for this 10 for the first record? Is there any matching value inside the static cache for whatever input value it has received?
No.
No, there is no matching value. If there is no matching value inside the static cache, what values will return by the lookup transformation? Is it going to return the null values or not null values?
Null values. Null values.
Null values. Okay. Here the lookup transformation will have null. This is null, 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 null. All these column values are null. The same ENO null it will pass to the expression. Address also it will pass to the expression as null. And then this ENO1, ENA, address, these three are coming from the source. First record 10A HYD. Those values we will get here. Created, updated system timestamp. The same values it will pass to the router transformation. Now tell me at router transformation, what are the values here? What is the value at ENO? What value we will get at ENO in router transformation? What is that? Can you repeat again?
10 AHYD.
10. So this ENO, first ENO is coming from where? From which transformation it is coming? To the router transformation, that ENO? Lookup transformation. Previously expression we have, and then it is coming from the lookup. At lookup transformation, what is the value here for this ENO?
None.
Null.
Null.
Right? So we have the null value. Okay, not the ton. So we have to see from where it is coming. So this ENO, we have given the link to the expression transformation. To this expression, we have got the link from lookup. Now the lookup, what is the value for this ENO? Null value. Why we have got the null value? Because for this 10 there is no matching value here. That's the reason lookup written the null. The same null it will pass here to the router transformation ENO. So that is the reason we will get null here, not the 10. Okay, next, how about the second column value, address? What value will be there here at address?
Null.
Null value.
No.
So again it is null. Why this is null again?
Coming
From where it is coming?
lookup transfer.
Yeah.
Lookup.
This is also coming from the lookup transformation. Second one also coming from the lookup. Second one for the address we have the null value. That is the reason we will get null. Okay, fine. Next, what is the value at ENO1?
10.
10.
10. So it is coming from the source, right? So this ENO1 we have connected here, and that ENO is coming from the source, and the source ENO is 10. And then A, then what is the address one? What is the value in HYD? Okay, and then create date will be the system date. Okay, so sys date is 9/13. 9/13, and this is 9/13/2022. Right? So these are the values at router transformation. So these values we have got at router transformation for the first record from lookup and source. These values router will pass to the below groups, insert and update group. Now for these values here, which group will satisfy? Is it going to satisfy the insert group or update group?
Insert group.
What? Insert group will satisfy the condition. Why the insert group? Why insert group will satisfy?
It will contain the same.
Yes, Sachin, can you please little bit louder? Not.
It will contain the same ports as router transformation.
It will contain same ports as router. No. Why the router transformation has why insert will satisfy for these values? Any other answer?
Because ENO is null and that satisfies the insert group condition.
Exactly, because ENO is null, so we have to say the condition. So if you see in insert group, what condition we have? Is null of ENO1. So we have this condition. Because of this condition, it will satisfy the insert group condition. So in insert group, we have is null of ENO. What is the value we have got here? We have got the ENO value as null. Condition also to satisfy is null of ENO. Is null of ENO means if the ENO is null. That is the reason insert group condition, not because of the same ports. So because of the condition, we have to say condition. Okay, in router transformation, we write multiple conditions. That's the reason insert group condition will satisfy. Because of is null of ENO1, that is the reason insert group condition will satisfy. And these values it will pass to the insert group, and ENO1, ENA address 1 created, updated. So these values we have connected from insert group to the target, and since we have connected to the target, those 10A HYD 913 it will insert here. 913 and 913. So like that it will insert the first record. Done. inserted. First record loaded successfully into the target. Next, the second record. Second record it will read a 20 VBL. 20 is source qualifier to the lookup transformation. It will pass 20. As soon as it receives 20, it will look for the matching value inside the cache. So do we have the matching value inside the cache for 20? Is there any matching value for 20 for the second record inside the static cache?
No. No.
No. Since there is no matching value, again for 20, all the lookup transformation will be null. The same lookup employee number will be null. It will pass to the expression to the router. Again for the second record also, ENO would be null. Since ENO is null for the second record also, insert group condition will satisfy, and the second record also going to be inserted inside the target table. 20 VBLR 913 913 22. So like that, second record also will be inserted inside the target table. Done. Two records inserted. Next, third record 30 CCN9. 30 it will pass to the lookup transformation. As soon as lookup receives 30, it will look for a matching value inside the static cache. Do we have 30 here? No. Since there is no 30, again lookup transformation will return the null value. Okay, so again, since the lookup employee number is null, insert group condition will satisfy, and the 30 record also going to be inserted. 30 is CCNI, and this is 913 and 913. So like that it will be inserted. Okay, so do we have any other records to process? No. So after loading all the three records from source to target table, and it will be succeeded. So for the first time, none of the records present in the target table, all the records inserted successfully into the target table. Okay, fine. So here we have an important point to remember. Okay, so if you observe here, I have written static cache is a copy of a lookup table, right? So this means whatever the number of rows are there, the same number of rows should present inside the static cache. But now, how many records are there in the lookup table? Currently, we have got 3 records. Do we have those 3 records here inside the static cache?
No.
It's a copy of the lookup table, right? Whatever the number of records are there, the same number of records should be there inside the static cache. But currently we have 3 records in the lookup table. But do we have those 3 records in our static cache? Means no, we do not have. Why we don't have those 3 records? Because when the static cache got created, static cache created at the beginning of the execution. When it started execution, that time static cache got created. When the static cache was created, that time the lookup table contains 0 records. That's the reason static cache got created with 0 records. Once the static cache created with 0 records during the execution, so static cache will not recreate again. Even though the records are getting inserted one by one like this lookup table, these records will not allow to insert the static cache. Static cache, once it is created at the beginning of the execution, it will be locked up. It will not allow to insert any of the records during the execution. Even though the records are getting inserted one by one in the lookup table, those records during the runtime or during the execution, so static cache will not allow to insert the records, and till the end of the execution, the static cache remains same. Okay, so now we have reached the end of the execution. We have loaded all the records from source to target table. After loading all the records from source to target table, at the end of the execution, before it displays succeeded message in monitor, it will go here inside the static cache directory, and whatever the static cache created at the beginning of the execution with 0 records, that static cache will be deleted automatically. So remember, static cache file will be created by the lookup transformation at the beginning of the execution. During the creation of the static cache, whatever the number of records are there in the lookup table, with those records the static cache will be created. Once the static cache is created, it remains same till end of the execution. It will not allow to insert any of the records. Okay, and it will not be recreated. Even though the records are getting inserted inside the lookup table, static cache will not allow to insert any of the records. It remains same till end of the execution. End of the execution, after loading all the records from source to target table, at the end of the execution, whatever the static cache file created at the beginning of the execution, that static cache file will be deleted automatically. We are not going to create, we will not be deleting automatically. A lookup transformation will create a static cache and it will be deleted automatically by the lookup at the end of the execution. Now there is no static cache, the file got deleted. Okay, fine. Again, when the static cache will be created, any guess? Now when it will be created again?
Lookup transformation.
When the static cache will be created again? Again, when the static cache will be created?
When we execute the mapping once again.
100%. Okay, perfect. So when the static cache will be created again means when we execute the mapping second time in the next run. Okay, so when it will be execute, when the static cache will be created means if we run next time. So first time we have executed successfully. Now if we are going to execute second time beginning of the execution, okay, the static cache file will be created. Okay, now before we execute second time, let me update one record in the source table. So this employee, let's say he has moved HYD to USA. So he has moved to USA on September 15th. Okay, so September 15th he has moved to USA and today's date is September 15. Okay, and we are executing this mapping on September 15th, second time. So second time if we execute this mapping, beginning of the execution static cache will be created. Now tell me, second time beginning of the execution, with how many records the static cache will be created this time? With how many records the static cache will be created?
With 3 records.
3 records, because we have lookup table contains 3 rows. With these 3 rows the static cache will be created, right? So now these 3 records will be there in your static cache. Because it's a copy of a lookup table, beginning of the execution static cache will be created with whatever the number of records present in the lookup table. We have 3 records, that's the reason cache also got created with 3 records. After creating the static cache, now from the source it will read the first record. From the source it will read the first record. Okay, so first record we have 10A USA is the first record, right? So from the 10A USA, first 10 it will pass to the lookup transformation. As soon as it sends the 10 to the lookup transformation, okay, so as soon as it will pass the 10 to the lookup transformation, it will look for the matching value inside the static cache. So this time, do we have the matching value inside the static cache for whatever the input value it has received? Yes, there is a matching value 10. Right, so as soon as the matching value found, the matching value corresponding column values will be there at lookup transformation. So what are the values at lookup transformation? This is 10A. What is the address from the static cache? HYD, and then created 913, 913, whatever we have, that we will get. So these are the values at lookup transformation. Those values it will pass to the expression to the router. Now tell me, what are the values at router transformation? What is the value at ENO? Is it null or 10?
10.
10. It is coming from the lookup, which is 10. And what is the address? Address
Null.
it is coming from where?
Address is Hyderabad, sir.
Right, so it is coming from the lookup, right? So second address it is coming from expression. For address here we have the value as HYD, right? And then what is the value at ENO1, which is coming from the source? 10A address 1 is USA, and then created 915, 915. So these are the values at router transformation. These values it will pass to the below groups. For these values, which group will satisfy? Insert or update?
Update group.
Update group. So why update group will satisfy? Because not is null of ENO. Yes, we have got ENO as not null, and ADDR not equal to ADDR1. So ADDR is HYD, ADDR1 is USA. Both are not equal. That's the reason condition is satisfied. So these values it will pass to the below update group. Now we will get these values to the update group. Update group, we have update strategy transformation. So for employee number 10, the address what we have got, ADDR1 is USA, and then 915. So at the back, update strategy transformation will write a update query to update USA and 915 to the employee number 10. So it will go here to this table. For this employee number 10, it will update the address from HY to USA, and also it will update the update date from 913 to 915. That's it. So for the second and third record, there is no change. So no insert, no update. So now no group, none of the group condition are going to satisfy for the second and third record. It will just leave as it is. So after updating the recording to the target table, before displays the succeeding message, end of the execution, this static cache will be deleted. Created at the beginning, deleted at the end. That's it. Second time execution succeeded. Second time after successful of the execution, you will get the data like this in the target table. Same way, before you execute third time, okay, you insert one new record in the source table, 40 DDEL, something like that, and then fourth time you execute and see whether you have got the new record inserted inside the target table or not. Right, in the last class I have shown you practically, right? So 2-3 times we have executed whatever the data we have got in the source, same as it is we have got in the target table. So this is called SCD type 1 because the same data we have, whatever is present in the source, same as it is we have in the target table. That's why we called it as latest data or current data. So whichever the mapping we have created to maintain the latest data or current data, that mapping we call it as a SCD type 1 mapping. That's it. So that's all for the day. Okay, this one is homework. Here I have explained you step by step what transformations we have to create. Okay, the same thing you can continue in the mapping. Okay, so this is homework. And one important point here you have to remember. So after creating a mapping for this one, you also create a session task, right? So under session task, connections. So till now we have been giving the connection for the source and target. If there is a lookup transformation in the mapping, the way how we have that EMP, MUIS, EMP, MUIT, like that, you will have the lookup connection also. So for that, I have given training underscore dev the connection name. The same way for the lookup also, you have to select the training underscore dev connection. Otherwise, if you don't set the connection for the lookup in the connection, it will fail the execution. Okay, so this one you can try. If you are not getting, then wherever you got stuck, you let me know. I'll help you on that. Here, so remember, don't forget to give the connection for the lookup here in the connections. The way how we have the connection for the source and target, in the same way you have to give the connection for the lookup also. That's it. So that's all for the day. We'll stop here today and then we'll continue tomorrow. Today you practice the same scenario. Tomorrow again we'll discuss the same scenario. Okay, but in place of, not today, we discussed about the static lookup. In the lookup we have another type of lookup called dynamic lookup. Okay, same mapping, in place of static lookup we will be using the dynamic lookup. So if you practice this, and then the tomorrow's class will be easy to understand the dynamic lookup. Fine, every class will be depending on the previous class. Every day whatever the scenarios I'm giving, you have to 100% complete on same day. Okay, so that the next class will be easy to understand. So please follow the same thing. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.